Well, hello everybody. Mid-February, and this is the middle of the month garden tour. And you know what? I'm going to be honest, and I'm really going to try to make this the fastest garden tour ever. The reason is nothing has changed. We've had nothing for the past couple of weeks of rain, cold, and wind, and today's the only sunny day. So the front yard, is nothing. I haven't done anything. I'm basically letting the garden fend for itself. I haven't watered, I haven't pruned anything, I haven't done anything. Here is that tree collard that broke off and I stuck in here. I guess it's set root. It's doing okay. It's still green. Let's see. I haven't really started anything in here. These are the tomatoes that have been growing all winter. See? So they've just been coming up all winter. The dinosaur kale that I put in there. Potatoes coming up down there, but it's coming from my compost. And then there's the mustard that we keep taking from every day, and it just keeps growing. The little one is still little, and sorrel. Like I said, I haven't done anything. I'm not big into wet, cold weather. So I just let the garden do its own thing, and once the weather changes, I will be out here doing things. And even this, I've got to clean all this out. I've got to clean up the peppermint. Hopefully that will come back soon when the weather warms up. I mean, it's still growing tomatoes. And we've been getting tomatoes. We've been getting a little bit of basil. But remember, that stuff doesn't like the cold weather. And here is the ginger table and the turmeric table, which has no ginger or turmeric in it. The stevia is all died back. See what happens to stevia in the cold, wet weather? We've been like 40 degrees at night. But look at the bottom. That's all the new stevia. So all that's going to take over, and I need to chop out all the brown stuff. And so this way the new stevia that's coming in everywhere, see, even in there, this way that will take over this spring, and I'll have tons of stevia coming up. So let's go in the main garden. Literally, I'm just doing a walkthrough because nothing has changed. I haven't done anything with my red tub except I have been throwing kitchen scraps in there, and then I may move some of that later when I start to set up pots and different things. This tomato plant's doing really good. This is the brownberry. We're still picking tomatoes every day. But no squash has been planted. Nothing's been changed. I am waiting for the weather to warm up one day soon, I hope. It's been so cold. Even today it's windy and cold. Look what the birds are doing. They've been sitting here and just eating their little hearts out. And then, of course, I've got to prune everything, take the brown leaves, collect it, and dump it all back. I will say all winter, even though I'm not doing anything at all, we're getting plenty of greens. We've always got greens going. Look at the greens. Here's the curly kale. See, there's the curly kale. So I've been making a green drink every day, or I've been shredding it up with potatoes and making fried potato pancakes out of greens. That's one thing we are getting, are all the greens that we want. Let me see. Let me pan over here real quick. Yeah, rainwater everywhere. And I use that for starting seeds, but we gotta just dump it in, as things dry out, which they have not done. And that's the mushroom plant. And then my kale that's coming up there, dinosaur kale. These are all cuttings. A lot of them, when you see them sitting there like this down here, those are all cuttings. Let me step around here. Nothing is from seed when it comes to my dinosaur kale. I just stick cuttings in there, from the side shoots, and they take off and grow. This tomato plant's been doing good all year, so that kept going. The mint has all died back. Mint is, like me, not a fan of cold weather. The sprouting broccoli, a lot of the leaves got chewed up by the birds. But, it will come back more. I mean, we've still been getting bits and pieces of broccoli off of it. Some of it has gone to seed, and the birds have been eating the seed, and that's okay. The collard is still going good. This is just plain collard. All my solar fountains are finally running. Look at that. The birds come and drink out of my bucket. And yes, I want to get some videos up on all the ideas I've got of making more solar fountains. Let's see what's over here. More sprouting broccoli, more dazzling blue kale, more kale that way. Oh, there's broccoli. Look at that. I love my broccoli. So good. Now mine's starting to grow pepinos over here. So my pepinos are growing good. Just a little colored, probably a colored sprouting broccoli that came up from seed. And like I said, I have not done anything. Literally haven't done anything. But I'm not going to waste your time on this because nothing has been changed. Nothing at all. I still have the red vein sorrel growing real good. The collard's going really, really good. So even though I haven't done anything in the garden, look at the beautiful blue dazzling kale that just, it looks like a palm tree the way it grows. How it just twists around and grows side trunks and everything. You know, I mean, even though I haven't done anything, it's one thing, we've had food all winter. Even doing nothing. This is, of course, my eggplant, which hasn't thrown any more eggplant, but it looks like it's starting to flower. And then there's the tree collard. I've got a couple of those in the yard. There's one there. And then there's one way back there. But this one's gotten really big. I've got to take more side shoots off. And I've got to figure out where I want it. And I want to put a lot of different plants on my deck too. It's a huge tomato. Look at that purple. It just gets tall. Like I said, I'm going to try to think about how I want to do this. But I'm not sure yet because it's just too cold to come out here and work. And I don't know how well the plants like it. You know, I mean, a lot of these plants like the cold weather, but they're established already. And that's the way they like it. To grow seedlings outside might be a little cold for some of them, especially when it's been getting really cold at night, sometimes even in the 30s. So, like I said, I'm in no hurry. The collards are all doing good. This is that, look at that. This one that came out of that pot. And it grew all over. The rabbits sit here and they've been doing a number on this one. But I have so much collard, so I'm not really worried about it. And then, of course, the papayas. Now, they've been doing really, really well. See that? Look at that. It'll be interesting when we harvest. We have not harvested off this papaya plant yet. So we'll see what kind of papaya it is exactly. Gary said it's a strawberry. That one, the other one's, you know, the one next to it, just isn't growing papayas. But I'm kind of afraid to even chop it out because chopping it out might affect this one. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. It has left the container. Again, I didn't plant it in there. It came up in my compost in place. I left it, and we've got a video in the back how we showed how we busted the bottom so the roots can come out. So it's doing really good. The moringa is not doing anything. It's too cold for the moringa. So it will come back as soon as the weather starts to stabilize at night. You know, where it doesn't get below 48, it starts to be 50 maybe at night. But there are leaves on the top. I don't know if I can show you that. So there are leaves on top of that tree. So they are starting a little bit, but we probably won't get any leaves off of that one right away. And they're just kind of hanging on everything. This is a tomato cutting I put in here, which is starting. It's just a cutting. I took it off of, I told you about that last time. This one that's kind of died back for the winter. Literally, I have done nothing. So all this has to be redone. And, well, rosemary grows on its own. I did stick a papaya there. I don't know if I'm going to leave it there. But it was in the middle of my yard. It had come up in one of my compost buckets. So I moved it because I don't want it in the middle of my garden. Because look how big they get. I won't be able to walk. I mean, this is, you know, this was fine here. It came up in the pot where I was composting in place and we left it. And then, of course, it busted the pot. But to have this in the middle of my garden down there, I would not be able to walk. So I moved that one. And then these are doing great. Look at all the papayas. We haven't had any ripe lately. You know, not in this cold weather. None of them have ripened. So we'll probably get some. There's one that's getting close, starting to turn yellow. So we'll have some papayas off of that one. And really, no joke, I'm going to walk through this real quick. Probably have the whole thing done in less than 15 minutes. Because literally there is nothing to do. I talked about this in the last one. The breeze that comes up from the canyon, because it's probably wind chill factor could be in the 30s, froze the leaves on this papaya plant. Say, but we didn't want to pull them off because even the frozen brown leaves protect the trunk, but they're coming off on their own little by little. And I will take the leaves and I will compost that right next to the plant because I think they like their own leaves too. When you're composting, to feed it back. But I mean, all in all, it's still alive and doing well. And, well, that's basically it. Let's turn around and I'll show you the wall. And there's our mud mess from all the rain. Look at this. There's just water everywhere. Literally, it was pouring last night. It's been pouring every day. Jeez, should build an ark. And yet, they're saying it could rain tomorrow. So we're getting rain tomorrow again. Everything there is still doing the same. Now, that particular moringa tree has got leaves. So I've been harvesting the leaves to use in our green drink, using anything I cook that has greens in it. That one is still going good, again, because of the wall. The wall is warm. See how the sun is beating on it? That's going to stay warm even at night. So it really does help the plants. That's why we have so many tomatoes there. And I want to get this all fixed up so next year I should have better and more vegetables there all through the winter. Well, last year, not this year, last year I had squash growing because they started them early and took care of them, and I had zucchini growing all winter. But this year, the zucchini didn't make it. I think I started them too late, and plus some of them got chomped on by the rabbits. And once zucchini gets chomped on the main stem, a lot of times it doesn't come back. But here's the eggplant I've been getting the eggplants off of. Oh, I see another one I did not see before. I see the yellow, but there's another one back here. A little bruise from banging on the wire, but you know what? That one's good. I better get that one off and we can have that for dinner. And then some Swiss chard. This is the one that's green with the red veins. All right, let's walk over to the truck bed. And that's the truck bed, which is doing quite well. I harvest a lot of greens out of here. And of course the greens are red. Some of them are red. See, this is the red Swiss chard. And of course this is sow thistle, which I use and do cook with it. But everything in here is doing good. And why? To be honest, the rabbits cannot get in here. So I get everything out of here. But like I said, even with me not working in the garden, we're getting food all year. We have food every day. We had, my mother used to make what was called spinach patties when I was little. And it was basically chopped up spinach with egg and a little flour, and then you make like pancakes out of it. And that's what I do with the greens. It's just so good. And we have it all the time. And then of course my green drink, the new one I make, I have not put that one up yet. The easiest green drink to make, the easiest to drink, and I really enjoy that. And I promise I'll get that up very, very soon, because that's something we have every day, and it's worked out so well. And you don't need a juicer or anything, and it's kind of a double duty. I'll explain that when I get that one up. And yes, the avocado tree is still there. Still contemplating on taking that out. But that's it for today. I really want to just let you know we're alive, well, which you probably already know, and well, and looking for things, you know, for the garden. Been running around at different stores and seeing what I can get and get ready for spring, which spring cannot come fast enough for me. I'm a wimp when it comes to the cold. I've been that way my whole life, since a little kid. Old-fashioned heaters used to be on the floor, and I would stand on them and melt my shoes. I just love the heat, but I don't like the cold. And it's cold right now, and it's windy. And like I said, we have a storm moving in, but even though the sky right now is quite nice. I do like all different seasons, but I've had enough of winter. I think we've had enough rain to last us for a long time. So with that, and then of course I've got that covered. I've got green Swiss chard under there. I've got the one that's green and red, which is similar to this one. See how the leaves are? Isn't that beautiful? And then of course you saw the one over there, it's red. And that other one that's under here, you can see is red. I should put something around this and let it open it up a little bit, but it's there if I need it. And it's growing quite well. The other thing I want to do is I want to get my garden on the patio, on the deck going, because I know I can get a lot of food, and I know anyone that doesn't have a yard can grow a lot of food on a patio or a deck, because actually you'll have more control out of a deck than you would if you had it in the ground. You literally will have more control. So somebody could have a big garden, but you could be growing quite a bit on a deck or a patio. So with that, these are just so beautiful. I can't get over how beautiful these are. They're so red. It's just, they're just so gorgeous. And when I make this green drink at night, because I keep a jar in the fridge for the next day, they separate and you get this green and red drink. It's kind of like green on the bottom and red on the top, and it looks so pretty. But of course I shake it up. I'll have to show you how I get that, and I promise I'll get that very, very soon. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow, and start your seeds inside now. I started a lot of seeds inside. I've started tomatoes. I've started my moringas. I want to grow a lot of moringa this year. I've got cauliflower, I think, growing, or no, not cauliflower. Brussels sprouts. I've got Brussels sprouts now. I've got a lot of different seeds I'm starting in the house. And then once the weather warms up and it's not so cold at night, I can start thinking about how I want to set things up, have it on my deck and have it in the yard, and maybe stick some in Gary's garden too. So with that, have a wonderful day, everybody. If you're in an area that is cold, stay warm, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody.